Anna entered the hall holding a silver tray full of crystal glasses, her steps light so as not to disturb the soft music echoing in the room. Every detail of the party seemed designed to remind her that this was not her place. The chandeliers sparkled like jewels, the conversations sounded artificial, and the looks. The looks were the worst. Out of the corner of her eye, Anna saw her employer, Laura, surrounded by the high society guests. Dressed in a stunning gown, Laura exuded superiority as she told some story, drawing laughter from the attendees. Anna knew she was there just to serve, but each step felt like a battle against the discomfort of being in a place where she was not welcome. A small accident drew attention. She lightly tripped, spilling a drop of wine on the pristine tablecloth of a table. Before she could apologize, she felt Laura's icy gaze. "Pay attention, Anna," the woman whispered through gritted teeth, loud enough for those nearby to hear and laugh at her. Anna was not just a maid. She was a woman with a story that few knew. The daughter of a seamstress and a bricklayer, she grew up in a humble neighborhood where the days were marked by struggle and resilience. From a young age, Anna found an escape from harsh reality in music. In the neighborhood church, she discovered the piano for the first time. With clumsy fingers, she began teaching herself, playing simple notes that soon turned into complex melodies. Her talent was evident, but the world she lived in didn't seem willing to acknowledge it. As an adult, she had to set aside her dream of living off music to help support her family. Working for Laura was one of the sacrifices she made to ensure her mother had the medication she needed and her younger siblings could continue their education. That party was just another day at work, or so she thought. Laura was the perfect portrait of a rich and successful woman. In the eyes of her friends and acquaintances, she had everything: a luxurious mansion, grand parties, and a lifestyle few could imagine. But behind that flawless smile, Laura carried a bitter secret: envy. From a young age, Laura had dreamed of playing the piano. Her family hired the best teachers, bought the most expensive pianos, and dedicated time and money to ensure she mastered the instrument. But despite all the efforts, Laura never managed to play more than a few soulless notes. Her inability to play with genuine passion was an open wound, a constant reminder that not everything could be bought with money. That night, upon hearing murmurs about Anna's talent, her humble maid with simple origins, Laura felt something burning inside her. "How is this possible?" she thought. "How did this little maid learn to play the piano when I, with all my wealth, couldn't?" Laura felt a bitter taste of envy and decided it was time to act. "Tonight, I will put her in her place," she said to herself, straightening up and snapping her fingers to catch the guests' attention. "Everyone," she announced in a firm tone that silenced the entire hall. All eyes turned to her, and Laura raised her voice. "I must share something curious with you all. Do you know who among us can play the piano? My maid, Anna." Her words struck the room like thunder. Anna, who was near a table serving wine, froze. The tray in her hands began to tremble slightly. She tried to avoid their gazes, but whispers began to spread. "Anna, come here," Laura ordered with a smile that seemed sweet but hid a sharp edge. Anna replied hesitantly, unsure if she had heard correctly. "You know how to play the piano, don't you? Am I right or wrong?" Laura insisted, her voice now laced with sarcasm. Her gaze was piercing, challenging Anna to deny it. Anna's heart raced. "Yes, ma'am, but I—" "Wonderful!" Laura interrupted, clapping her hands as if celebrating a grand achievement. "The piano is over there. Come on, show my guests your great talent. I'm sure everyone is eager to hear what you can do." The room filled with muffled laughter. Some guests looked at Anna with curiosity, others with obvious disdain. The tension in the room was palpable, and Anna could feel every pair of eyes on her. I don't think I should, ma'am," Anna replied, trying to step back. Laura stepped forward, her expression becoming harsher. "You don't think you should? Oh, Anna, it's such a simple request. Or are you ashamed to show what you can do?" Laura's tone was a mix of provocation and threat. Anna knew she had no choice. Refusing would lead to even greater humiliation. Her eyes began to water, but she forced herself to keep her head held high. "Very well," Laura said, crossing her arms. "You're always hiding in the corners of the house, but today I want everyone to see who you really are. After all, where you come from, what else do people do besides play little tunes in churches, right?" A stifled laugh ran through the room. Anna felt her face burn with shame. She gripped the tray tightly, as if it could somehow give her stability. "It's okay, Anna," Laura said, feigning encouragement. "Just do your best. Or are you not as special as they say?" The humiliation was evident, but Anna knew she couldn't run away. Slowly, she placed the tray on a table and walked toward the piano in the corner of the hall. Laura watched her with a look of triumph, as if she already knew the outcome of this show. "Let's see if you're really as talented as they say," Laura whispered to herself, while all the guests waited in silence. The atmosphere was heavy with expectation. For Laura, this would be the moment to prove that Anna was nothing more than a maid who dared to dream too big. But for Anna, this would be the moment to show something that not even Laura could control. The hall was completely silent as Anna sat at the piano. The white and black keys gleamed under the light of the chandeliers, mocking her, inviting her to fail. Laura, arms crossed, stood tall with a mocking smile, making it clear she expected a disaster. "We're waiting, Anna," Laura said, with a tone of false patience. "Show us what you're capable of." The guests around them chuckled softly. Some whispered, others held their champagne glasses, ready to watch what they believed would be a spectacle of humiliation. Anna, with trembling hands, let her fingers glide over the keys without pressing them, trying to gather the courage to play. "You can do it," she thought. "For Mom, for everything I've been through. This isn't for them, it's for me." She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. When she pressed the first key, the sound was so clean and pure that it cut through the air like a blade. The laughter and whispers stopped instantly. The initial notes began as a soft melody, almost shy, but full of emotion. Anna felt her body relax as her fingers slid more confidently. It was as if the piano, her old friend, embraced her in that moment. As she played, the room seemed to change. The clinking of glasses, the murmuring of conversations, everything disappeared. Every guest was now mesmerized, captivated by the music that filled the space with overwhelming beauty. "This is incredible," a woman murmured in the back, not realizing she was speaking out loud. Laura, however, remained still. The mocking smile had vanished, replaced by a look of disbelief. This was not what she had expected. "How is this girl capable of this?" she thought, struggling to hide the frustration growing inside her. The music grew more intense, the notes becoming faster and more vibrant. Anna played with a passion that none of the guests had ever witnessed before. She wasn't just playing, she was telling a story, pouring her soul into the keys. Each chord seemed to carry years of struggles, sacrifices, and unrealized dreams. A man sitting near the piano let out an emotional sigh. "This isn't just talent," he commented to the person next to him. "This is art." As Anna progressed through the melody, silent tears streamed down her face. They weren't tears of sadness, they were tears of relief. She was confronting her fear, and with great mastery, she was triumphing and showing everyone the deep passion that had always kept her standing. When the final note was played, there was a moment of complete silence. It was as if no one dared to breathe, afraid to break the magic still hanging in the air. Laura, for her part, felt her face flush with shame. She tried to disguise her discomfort with a forced smile, but it was impossible to deny. Anna had won everyone over. And then, someone began to clap. At first, a single person. Then another, and another, until the entire hall was giving a standing ovation. Anna stood up slowly, looking around, surprised by the reaction. "I told you she had talent," exclaimed one of the guests, trying to ride the wave of collective admiration. Laura remained silent. Her plan to humiliate Anna had completely backfired. As the applause echoed through the hall, all she could think was, "How did I let this happen?" The applause continued to resonate in the hall, but for Laura, each clap was a blow to her pride. Her face was tense, and her forced smile could no longer hide the anger and humiliation she felt. It wasn't just the fact that Anna had played brilliantly, it was the way she had captivated the guests, something Laura had never managed to do with her own hands at the piano. As the guests approached the piano, curious to talk to Anna, Laura stepped forward and, in a sharp voice, cut the moment short. "All right, that's enough." Anna, still standing near the piano, stepped back, startled by Laura's tone. "Go back to the kitchen, Anna," she ordered, avoiding direct eye contact with her maid. "You've caused enough disruption. Now you have dishes to wash." "But, ma'am, Anna tried to say, but Laura raised her hand, cutting her off. I don't want to hear anything else. Go now. The hall, which moments earlier had been filled with admiration, became tense again. Some guests glanced at each other, uncomfortable with Laura's attitude, while others lowered their eyes, pretending not to notice. But among the attendees, there was someone who would not let Anna's talent go unnoticed. A distinguished man, elegantly dressed with a well-groomed beard and confident gaze, approached Anna before she could leave. It was Victor, a famous music producer whom Laura had invited to impress her guests. Wait a moment, Victor said, ignoring Laura and extending his hand to Anna. You have incredible talent. I'd like to talk more about it. Maybe we could work together. Anna looked at Laura hesitantly, while Laura practically ground her teeth in frustration. Anna is not available for this nonsense, Laura cut in, forcing a smile. She has work to do and needs to return to the kitchen. You understand, don't you, Victor? Victor frowned. Laura, her talent is rare. This cannot be ignored. And I'm not ignoring it, Laura replied, her tone a mix of coldness and impatience. But she's my maid. I have responsibilities with her, and now she needs to work. Excuse us. Laura made a discreet gesture to one of her security guards, who immediately approached. In a low voice, Laura gave the order. Do not let Anna leave the kitchen until the end of the party. Keep an eye on her. I don't want any more embarrassing scenes. The security guard nodded and followed Anna discreetly to the kitchen, where he kept her under surveillance. Hours later, as the guests began to leave, Laura walked into the kitchen. Anna was there, silently washing dishes, her eyes swollen from trying to hold back tears. Laura entered with firm steps and crossed her arms. I hope you've learned your lesson, Anna, she began, with the tone of someone reinforcing their authority. You work for me. You weren't hired to shine, but to serve. Anna lifted her eyes but said nothing. The humiliation of the evening had been enough to silence her. And to make that very clear, Laura continued, now with an icy smile, you're fired. Anna's eyes widened in shock. Ma'am, please. I need this job. My mother is sick, my siblings. That's not my problem, Laura interrupted coldly. Pack your things and leave through the back door. And don't even think about coming back. Without another word, Laura turned on her heel and left, leaving Anna alone. The tears she had held back for hours finally fell. Anna gathered her few belongings and left the mansion, leaving behind the place where she had shown the world her talent, and where she had been punished for it. The night was cold, and the silent streets seemed to reflect the emptiness Anna felt inside. She walked slowly, clutching a small bag with her few possessions. The icy wind cut her face, but the pain in her chest was far more intense. Every step echoed the questions her mind couldn't stop repeating. What will I do now? How will I take care of Mom? How will I pay for Kaio's education? The tears, which she had held back during the party, now flowed freely, soaking her face. When Anna reached a street corner, she stopped. She looked up at the dark sky, where a few timid stars shone. Why is this happening to me? She murmured through sobs. I just wanted a little dignity, a little hope. For a moment, the silence was broken by the distant sound of an engine. Anna paid no attention, but the noise grew closer. A black luxury car slowly approached and stopped right in front of her. Anna stepped back, startled. Her heart raced. Could it be Laura, she thought, feeling her body stiffen. Did she send someone to follow me? Is she trying to humiliate me even more? The back window of the car began to roll down, and Anna held her breath. But to her surprise, the face that appeared wasn't Laura's. It was Victor, the man who had shown interest in her talent at the party. Anna! Victor called, his voice firm but full of kindness. He opened the door and stepped out of the car. Impeccably dressed, Victor was a stark contrast to Anna, who looked increasingly small in her maid's uniform. Anna didn't know how to react. Part of her wanted to run. Another part was too confused to understand why he was there. I didn't do anything wrong, she stammered, trying to hold back her tears. Victor took a few steps toward her, but stopped at a distance that wouldn't intimidate her. He raised his hands as if to reassure her. Calm down, Anna, he said with a welcoming smile. I'm not here to hurt you. Quite the opposite. Anna wiped her eyes with the back of her hands, still suspicious. What do you want? Victor sighed and looked directly at her. I want to know why someone with your talent is walking the streets alone, in tears, after a performance like that. You have something many people only dream of, Anna. And I can't ignore that. She shook her head in disbelief. Sir, I'm just a maid. You're more than that, Victor interrupted firmly. I heard your music. That's not something you learn in a conservatory. You play with your heart, Anna. That cannot be wasted. Anna blinked, trying to process his words. She had never heard anything like that before. Her entire life, she'd been treated as someone who just served, a disposable part of the world of the rich. Please, get in the car, Victor continued, gesturing to the open door. I want to help you. Let's talk. She hesitated. Why? Why would you do this for me? Victor smiled again. Because talent like yours deserves to be seen by the world. And, honestly, because I believe in justice. Laura had no right to treat you that way. But more than that, Anna, you deserve a chance to change your life. Anna looked at the car and then at Victor's face. Something in the sincerity of his eyes made her believe him. After taking a deep breath, she gave a small nod and got into the car. Inside the car, Anna kept her hands folded in her lap, nervously looking at her fingers. The luxurious interior was unlike anything she had ever seen, with soft leather seats and warm lighting that created a cozy atmosphere. Victor, sitting beside her, watched patiently, waiting for Anna to feel comfortable enough to talk. Finally, he broke the silence. Anna, I'll get straight to the point. What you did tonight was extraordinary. Anna looked at him, surprised. I just played what I felt, she murmured, still unsure of herself. Victor smiled. And that's exactly what makes you a true artist. You don't just play, you convey emotion. That's something that can't be taught. She remained silent for a moment before shaking her head. But it doesn't change anything. I lost my job, and my mother is sick. No matter what I do, I'll always be a maid who plays piano in secret. Victor leaned forward slightly, looking directly into her eyes. You're wrong, Anna. You have the power to change that. And I want to help you. Anna blinked in surprise. Help me? How? Victor rested his elbows on his knees and spoke firmly. I'm a music producer. I work with artists from all over the world. But honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen someone with the talent and passion you have. I want to offer you an opportunity. Something that could change your life forever. She widened her eyes, incredulous. Opportunity? What do you mean? I want to take you to a studio, record your music, and present your talent to the world. With me, you can learn, grow, and finally have the chance you deserve. Not as a maid, but as an artist. Victor's words echoed in Anna's mind. It was as if he were opening a door to a world she had never believed she could enter. But at the same time, fear began to grow inside her. What if I fail? She asked, her voice trembling. What if I'm not good enough? Victor gave her an encouraging smile. You've already proven you're good enough, Anna. Tonight, in that room full of arrogant people, you were the only one who did something memorable. That's not failure. That's victory. Anna's eyes filled with tears again, but this time, they weren't from sadness. For the first time, someone believed in her. Someone saw beyond her position as a maid. And my mother, my brother, I need to take care of them. Victor nodded. I understand. And I promise this opportunity won't just be about you. It will be about giving them the life they deserve. You're not alone, Anna. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. After everything she had faced that night, it seemed almost impossible to believe that something good could come of it. But deep down, a small flame of hope began to grow. Finally, she found the courage to say, I accept. Victor smiled, satisfied. You've made the right decision. Trust me, Anna, this is just the beginning. As the car continued to drive through the city streets, Anna felt, for the first time in her life, that she was heading toward a future where her talent, her voice, and her story would finally have a place. In the days that followed, Anna's life changed completely. Victor took her to a professional studio, where she saw for the first time a grand piano even more magnificent than the one at Laura's party. The first notes she played in the studio were filled with emotion, a mix of relief, gratitude, and the certainty that this was her chance. Victor kept his promise. He brought in musicians and composers to collaborate with Anna and started promoting her work on social media and at small events. In no time, Anna's talent attracted media attention. Her story, a humble woman who overcame the barriers imposed by society, became an inspiration. While Anna played, she always thought of her mother and brother. With her first earnings, she was able to secure the medications her mother needed and keep her brother in school. It was as if, finally, music was not just a refuge but a way to transform lives. Months later, Anna was invited to perform at a major charity event organized by a foundation of renowned artists. The auditorium was packed. When she finished her performance, the applause was deafening. It was a moment of triumph. But as she stepped off the stage, Anna spotted a familiar figure in the crowd. Laura, her former employer, was there, accompanied by some friends. Their eyes met for a brief moment, and Laura seemed confused, perhaps even regretful. Anna, now confident and composed, gave a small smile before looking away. Laura had been an obstacle in her path, but she had also been the catalyst that propelled Anna to achieve her dreams. That night, as Anna returned home, she looked up at the sky once more. This time, there were no tears of sadness, only gratitude. She knew her journey had not been easy, but every challenge had brought her to this point. And as she played the piano in her new home, a simple house, but filled with love and hope, Anna understood something profound. We don't always choose the battles we face, but we can choose how we overcome them. And talent, when guided by the heart, is the most powerful weapon we can have. Anna continued to grow as both an artist and a person, using her music to tell stories of resilience and to inspire others to believe in themselves. Although Laura had tried to extinguish her light, Anna proved that no darkness could dim a flame destined to shine.